City officials in Chicago are expressing shock after prosecutors dropped all 16 charges against Empire actor Jussie Smollett. Mayor Rahm Emanuel called it a whitewash of justice, while Chicago Police Superintendent said the city is still owed an apology.
The actor has denied all allegations. Adriana Diaz is in Chicago, where she spoke with the lead prosecutor about why the charges were dropped.
Mr. Smollett is still saying that he is innocent, still running down the Chicago Police Department. How dare him?
Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel could barely contain his outrage at the decision to drop charges against actor Jussie Smollett.
This sends an unambiguous message that there is no accountability, and that is wrong.
Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson says his department was blindsided.
It's Mr. Smollett who committed this hoax, period. If he wanted to clear his name, the way to do that was in a court of law so that everyone could see the evidence.
Smollett's attorney said his record was wiped clean of the 16 felony counts of disorderly conduct, each punishable by up to 3 years in prison. The actor remained unapologetic while maintaining his innocence.
I've been truthful and consistent on every single level since day one.
Prosecutors accused Smollett of lying to police about being attacked in the middle of the night by two white men who shouted racist and homophobic slurs. But it was these two brothers who admitted under oath that Smollett paid them to do it.
I would not be my mother's son if I was capable of one drop of what I've been accused of.
Investigators have said the 36-year-old, who's openly gay, made the report to get publicity in hopes of gaining a larger salary on the TV drama Empire. State Prosecutor Joe Magatz is the person who made the decision to drop the charges. He believes Smollett made up the allegations, but says the nonviolent case qualifies for community service and a financial penalty, which he says is common practice.
So you believe he's guilty?
Yes.
So why drop the charges?
Our priority is violent crimes and the drivers of violence. Jussie Smollett is neither one of those.
And is community service and $10,000 enough to wipe this clean?
I feel that it is.
CBS News legal analyst Ricky Kleeman calls the latest twist beyond unusual.
You have a 16-count indictment, and then within a very short period of time, the case gets dismissed by the prosecution and it gets sealed. Unusual is almost not strong enough of a word.
So earlier, I spoke to Adriana on CBSN AM.
Well, Anne-Marie, you're right. Flabbergasted is the word. I mean, we were all shocked yesterday. We had to rush down to the courthouse, not sure what was going on. And then to hear that bombshell news that all the charges were being dropped after everything the city has gone through, after this huge investigation. It's a black eye for the city after the victim becomes a suspect. It was shocking. So the state prosecutor who made this decision, Joe Magatz, we interviewed him actually in this building behind me, and he explained his reasoning. What he said is because this wasn't a violent offense, because Smollett has a clean record or had a clean record before this, in these types of cases, it is common practice, he said, to find an alternate resolution, to not go to trial, to not seek jail time. So the alternate resolution that he thought was appropriate was community service, that Smollett has done, as well as having Smollett forfeit $10,000 bond that he already paid to bail out. Now, we looked into that community service. That community service consisted of 2 days of community service that he did on Monday of this week and this past Saturday with the Rainbow Push organization. He, of course, does have a history of volunteering, and prosecutors took that into account. But that was his reasoning, that, you know, we know when we look at all the facts, when we look at the technicality of this case, based on the fact that it was not violent, that he doesn't have a record, these types of cases qualify for this type of resolution. And he says that he's had these alternate resolutions at least 5,700 times in the past 2 years. So for him, he said, we do this all the time. It's just that this is a more high-profile case. Now, a lot of people are saying it's a high-profile case, it's a high-profile suspect, and so Jussie Smollett got preferential treatment. I asked him that directly. He said absolutely not, he didn't. People can form their own conclusions, but it is certainly curious that this all happened so quickly, so suddenly. And after the prosecution was really working on this case just 2 weeks ago, they laid out 16 counts against him, and that was basically adding more specificity to their investigation than they had before. So they were really moving forward with this case just 2 weeks ago, and then just to drop it all yesterday was shocking.
So just to sort of clarify, he did the community service. He's giving up $10,000, but there's no charges. He's not agreeing that if they had gone to trial, I don't know if he is, but if they had gone to trial, then they would have succeeded. There's nothing. He's just sort of handing over the money and doing the community service, and then it's like nothing happened at all?
So from Smollett's perspective, he's giving up $10,000 that he already gave up, so he's forfeiting it. We should note that we've learned that the city has spent more than $150,000 on his case. So $10,000 is hardly a drop in the bucket. After these 2 days of community service, Smollett can now walk out, and what he is doing is using this news to vindicate himself. He says, you know, as you can see, I am innocent. I have claimed my innocence from day one. But what is key here is that the prosecutor in that building who actually dropped the charges told us that he doesn't believe he's innocent. He said, we believe he's guilty. But even though we believe he's guilty, we don't think it's reasonable to go to trial, to sentence him, to try to seek jail time for a crime that was not violent for a first-time offender. So what's kind of curious about this news and this development is that all sides involved are sticking to their guns. The police and the mayor are saying he's guilty, these charges shouldn't have been dropped. The prosecutor himself is saying he's guilty. I decided to drop the charges because, you know, this wasn't a violent offense, and we're really trying to focus our resources and our time on violent crime here in Chicago. And Smollett is saying the charges were dropped, so that proves what I've been saying all along, which is that I'm innocent. So Smollett is able to continue to declare his innocence, even though the prosecutor himself, who dropped the charges, thinks he's guilty.
I don't know, Adriana. It still seems so unsatisfying, but I know the lead prosecutor said this is a remedy that he's used many times before. I think a lot of people are still asking a lot of questions. Adriana, thank you so much.